Okay, so we're recording now. So welcome everybody again. And you just need to start a brand new worksheet like I have now. Okay, let me get my handout here so I can see what we're gonna talk today. And we're gonna do a payroll sheet. And for a payroll sheet, we're gonna combine text and numbers. So we're gonna be working with functions, a mix of functions, different ways to do functions. So just as a recap, I just wanna show a recap of what we did last week. Last week you all see how we did AutoSum. You learn how to do the AutoSum. The AutoSum is an icon that is already showing on our home tab. And it's easy. You just choose where you want the AutoSum. You then click on the icon and press enter. If you want to modify the range, you just have to move the highlighted, the scrolling, moving ends, and move the highlighted border and fix where you want the sum to be. And then you press enter. And you can then do an autofill and apply it for, or copy paste to apply it for the rest. So we're gonna do a couple of those today. So that's what we did last week with the AutoSum. And today we're gonna start practicing more on these functions that Excel has already pre-made for us that makes easier the input of data. So one of the things is with text, we can also work with text. So we're gonna do a payroll sheet similar to the one I have here in the picture. So to start with, we're just gonna start typing. So we're gonna go to the A1, and on A1, we're just gonna type first name, and I wouldn't worry about cap or small caps or spelling. I would just try to do my best putting data now. I wouldn't worry about capitalization or grammar rules. Just try to enter the best you can. Just try and see if you can use your number pad. So the number pad helps you in putting enter numbers, and it's gonna give you a lot of flexibility entering numbers, and it's easier than using the numbers at the top of the keyboard. So we're gonna do text. So the first on A1, we're just gonna type first name. Then you can click enter or arrow. So on the arrow, you can use the arrow key to go to the next row. So you can just click the arrow key and you go to the next cell. Because if you press enter, you're gonna go down and then you're gonna have to go up. So, and if you did that, you just use the mouse until you get the hang of it. So the other one is, the next one is gonna be last name. And then just use the arrow key. And the next one is gonna be full name. And then the arrow. And then it's gonna be hours. And then the arrow key. And then it's gonna be gross pay. And then the arrow key. And then you can go all the way to G. So you don't have to put anything on F. Just on G, you're gonna put hourly rate. And then you can press enter on here because I don't wanna keep going. So let me do it again. If you get stuck, I'm just gonna do it again. I'm just using the delete key to delete that. So in A1, I'm gonna do first name. And if I make a mistake, I just do backspace and it's gonna do the backspace. When I finish, use the arrow key on your keyboard. And then last name, arrow key, full name, arrow key, then hours, arrow key, gross pay, arrow key, keep going, leave F empty, go to G, import hourly rate. And do not worry about the text getting cut off by the size of the column. And then hourly rate, press enter. Okay, and I'm not gonna worry about that right now. So now we're gonna enter names. So you can pick up any names you want. Just gonna put, I'm gonna give you some names. I'm gonna put it on the Zoom chat. If you want to just, you can take these names. If you know how to copy paste them, you can copy paste. If not, you can just type them. I'm gonna put them on Slack too. And you can copy paste those, or if that help you at all. If not, you can just type them or type any name that you feel that is easy for you to type. It doesn't need to be exactly the same. What is important here is the process rather than the content in this case. So I'm gonna put Greg. And for this case, let's do just Greg, enter, James, because it's just easier to do enter, James, Ted, Susan, and then we're gonna enter the last name. I know it's not the way it's done, but let's do it like that just for the sake of time. And then we'll do Sean, Lance, and then we're gonna do Sean. And then for the last name, we're gonna do this last name and try to change, try to put different letter cases because we're gonna fix the letter cases. So I want you to have different letter cases. Don't try to make the letter cases the perfect. I know some of you are like to have grammar perfect, so it's gonna be hard for you, but try your best. So try to do like C, Connors, C in lowercase and N in uppercase, because we're gonna fix it. I'm gonna show you how to fix that. So the first one is Connors. And then Rich and Haynes. And then I'm gonna do Drake. So you can do this. You can do they. See, it's starting to remember because we are entering data. And so it's trying to remember D because I already entered a name with a D. It believes that it's gonna be Drake again, but it's not Drake, it's Davis. So I put a different letter case here just to, but it corrects it. It doesn't like it, so it's gonna correct it because there is an autocorrect in Excel. So it doesn't like that I put different. So it's not gonna let us to do a combination of lettercase. It's gonna be either all lowercase or all uppercase. So that's okay. And then we do Willis. So when you're done like doing that, let me know. Let me know when you are all caught on, either on Slack or on the chat. So done, good, thank you. So now we're gonna save it. So let's go and save this. So if you haven't saved this, let's try to save it. So I already saved mine. So you might want to go save as and save it in your computer. So every computer is different. So you're gonna have to choose where you wanna save it. So you wanna save it in your desktop, give it a name and go ahead and save it. And the next time you want to save it, you just click the disk at the top left corner. Okay, so now that you have it saved, let's change all the columns. So we're gonna click here on this corner here. So this corner that is joining the arrows and the columns, we're gonna click that and it's gonna select the whole worksheet. And we're going to move one column by sizing the width of one column is going to size all the columns the same. So it's going to save us a lot of work. So just by sizing one, it's going to assign the same width to all the columns. So if I do this, it's going to put the same for all of them. And then I'm going to put there. So when you're done, click anywhere in the worksheet and then it stops. And then I made a mistake here. So I'm going to change it to pay. Okay. And remember, you can use the scroll bars here on the right to move up and down, and also the scroll bar to move right and left. Okay, so now we're going to fix, we not only want to fix the letter case on the last names, we also gonna join, the full name. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna do last name, comma, space, first name. We're gonna combine that. We're gonna do that combination. That is a formula that is embedded in Excel. And we're gonna put it together. So it's kind of like adding, but adding text. And to do that, we're gonna use something called an ampersand. So you can watch and then you can do the next one. So for now, you can watch and then we're gonna do it you can do it all the next one. So right here on C2, I'm gonna enter equal. So I'm gonna click equal. And then I'm gonna click the last name, the cell that has the last name, which is B2. So I can click it or I can just type it and it gets highlighted. So that's how I know I chose the correct one, because it's showing me that's the last name, that's the one I want. Now I want to put a comma. So a comma is a text. So I need to use something to join a text with another text. So in addition, when we add numbers, we use a plus. In text, when we add text, we use an ampersand. So we're gonna do ampersand, and then we're gonna do quotes, because quotes let Excel know that we're gonna enter a text. Then we're gonna use comma. Then we're gonna click the space key, this space key right here. We're gonna use the space key, so we use comma, and then space key, and then we're gonna put a quote. And then quote, and then what we're gonna do next? To join the next text. So remember, we put an ampersand here to join text. And now we need to put ampersand here to join A1, A2. So we need to put something here to join. Anybody knows what we need to put there? Anybody has any guesses? Any wild guess? You can write it. You don't want to tell me, just write it. So we use, to add numbers, we use a plus, and to add text, we use an ampersand. So anybody knows whether we have to put to join two texts. So where I'm adding this text here with another text. So there is something missing. Anybody has a guess what we have to put in between that to join that text? We already did it here. So what do we have to put here? An ampersand. Thank you so much. Yeah, another ampersand. When we have this, we're going to click enter. And then we get that. So I'm going to show you, that's how we get it. Now I'm going to show you what happens if we don't do that. So I'm going to show you what an error looks like. So this is what an error looks like. So if I don't put the ampersand, this is how you know something is missing. You're going to get all this, there is a problem in this formula, it's going to give you all this information about it. Sometimes it helps you, sometimes it doesn't help you. This is just a standard output the computer is going to give you. It doesn't mean that the computer knows exactly what your error is. So, so that's the way you fix it. So text with text, you need to use an ampersand. And I put a space. Remember I told you, you need to add a space. What happens if you don't have a space? You don't have a space, then the comma it'll be Connors, comma, Greg. There is not gonna be a separation between the comma and Greg. So that's why it's very important that we need to add a space after the comma. So there is a white space between the comma and the first name. Okay, very good. So what's the next thing we need to do now? Anybody remembers? Besides save. So we save, and now what is the next thing we need to do? Drag, yeah, thank you. We need to drag, so we need to do the autofill. So it applies to all of the names. So now you're gonna have apply the, now you don't have to retype the full name. You can just use the data given to compose the full name. So that saves you a lot of time. So imagine we only have, you know, we all only have 6 names, but if we have 200 names, that is gonna be a lot of work that we save. Okay, very good. And then we click out of it and then we save. So we still have an issue, which is the different capitalization. So we need to put everything in a proper capitalization. To do that, we have to use a function that is live within Excel, which is embedded with Excel. So we need to add a function, and Excel has, I don't know, 1,000, but at least 100 of functions recorded in a library of functions. And we can call those functions. We're gonna see that library pretty soon. So I just wanna give you a pic of one of the functions. So you already saw AutoSum is one of the functions that is part of the library of Excel. You saw sum is the regular sum. It lives in a function. Is a live is programmed within Excel. So now we're gonna use something called proper. Proper is gonna give the proper capitalization to text. So you're gonna go to the beginning. So you can either work here or you can work in the formula bar. I'm choosing to work inside the cell so you can see it, because we are in Zoom. So I'm gonna do it in the cell, but you can also do it in the formula bar. Actually, I'm gonna do it in both places so you can see how. So I'm gonna start typing proper, like you will write in English. So I'm gonna do proper. And as soon as I type it, it'll recognize because I'm using an equal. So equal is like you go in, when you put the equal in Excel, you go inside the library. So you're gonna go inside this library. Imagine it's a book that lives inside library, and it's gonna go in this dictionary and it's gonna find anything start with P, and it's gonna start displaying anything start with P, and then it's gonna show me anything that is corresponds to what I'm typing. So I'm gonna choose proper, and then I'm gonna double click. So I had to double click on proper, and then I'm gonna put I don't have to put a parenthesis, but just to be proper, I'm gonna put parentheses on both sides. And then you click enter. And now it has the right, and then you drag, and it's gonna have the right capitalization. So, and now you can see that it's applied to everyone. So I'm gonna do undo for now, and I'm gonna do it here in the formula bar so you can see how you can also do it in the formula bar. And you see, when you do that, sometimes if there is enough room in Excel, you're gonna get a description of the function. So it says converts a text string. So in computer science, a text it's called a text string, but you don't have to worry about that. If you don't understand what a string is, you don't have to go and find out what it is. is just as text. The first letter in each word is gonna be uppercase, and all other letters are gonna be lowercase. That's what it matters. So I'm gonna put parentheses because that's the way the function syntax is designed. Is you write proper, and then the value that you are using has to be in parentheses. And then I click enter. And then I do the autofill, and it's gonna be, I put Sena and it's shown. So let me fix it. And then it's gonna be applied in all of them. And I'm gonna put the formula on the chat if that helps. Okay, any questions so far? So if you want to check spelling, you want to go to the review tab and check spelling. And then you can review the spelling there. And here it's telling me this is incorrect. It should be uppercase, but I'm just gonna leave it like that for now. And then, but that's how you can check the spelling too. And if you make a mistake, you can also undo right here, or you can use the Control Z as zebra key right here. So Control Z right here. And it'll undo the last action. Okay, ready to move on? Yes? Next one. Okay, the next one, we already did it, so I just gonna fill out hours. So I'm gonna do 10, 20, 15. You can put whatever you want. Just put some hours there between 50 and 10. And then for hourly rate, we're gonna do $20. We're gonna be very generous. And we want to put for that 20, we want to put $20. We want to do the $sign. So remember, we're gonna do the home ribbon at the home tab, and we want to choose right here the dollar format. So make sure you have that. Then we can calculate the gross pay. So we're gonna do the gross pay by doing equal and clicking hours times hours. But there is something missing. Anybody remembers what is missing from last week? So if I do this, if we get the first one is correct, but then the second one is empty, and all of them are gonna be empty. And this is happening because the reference H2 is empty. This is referring to H3. This is referring to H4. This one is referring to H5. And this one is referring to H6. So we need to anchor this one. So all of them, the H1 needs to be anchored or fixed. So all of the other cells are using only H1. So anybody remembers how to do that? What kind of sign do we use to make it do not move down and it stays only H1 all the way down?
Dollar sign.
Ah, the dollar sign. Thank you. The dollar sign. So we're going to put the dollar sign before the H. So before the letter and after the letter. And then we can now drag and let go. And now it's correct. So you're going to see even the last one is going to be anchored. Very good. Thank you for remembering. So now we can save and we have that done. But we are not quite done. Now we can do more formulas. So right here at 10, we're gonna get a couple other measures, calculations. So on 10A, we're gonna put number of employees and then average hours, max hours, minimum hours, average, pay, and let's do this overtime, and then we might have time for that to do that. And you can see we got a little oversize right here, so we can do this, select the whole sheet and then move the column a little bit more and resize this. So we're gonna go to the function, and I want a function that is gonna count the number of entries that we have for employees. So I'm gonna go to use my library function. So right now, so far we've been calling it without using using the library wizard. There is a library wizard, and that's what we're gonna. So if you know the function in your mind, you can just call it and type it. But if not, you can just go and find it. So we're gonna go here to formulas. And here in formulas where all the libraries are. So you're gonna see all the different libraries. So in insert is where you're gonna find all of them. So it's like the whole index. You can find it by just typing. And then there are different libraries here. So let's start from the beginning. Insert a function is where you find all of them. You can just type a keyword and you find them. So the first one, I want to count. So I open it, and the first box asks me for like a keyword, like a Google or a browser index, where you're gonna type what you're looking for. So the first thing I want to do is count. So this is what I'm trying to find. I want a function that counts. So I type count, and this is, sometimes it works. You have to be specific to what you want. You can just not write a story of what you want. You have to be specific. So I just put go, and there are different ones here that counts. So the first one is going to give me a description. This one counts numbers. No, I don't want that it counts only numbers. I won't, because right here, the first column has text. So that one won't work for me. The next one counts number of cells in a range that are not empty. That's the one I need, because it's independent, is there numbers or text. And then there are a couple other ones, but I already found the one I want. So I'm gonna click OK. And there is, if you get confused, you can click help on this function, and it's gonna take you to a website where it has examples. Click OK. Then when click OK, it has here some explanation what each one is about. If you are unsure how that works, and this is something I do frequently, I'll click help on this function, and it's gonna give you an example, and the example clarifies how to use it. So I already know how to use this one. So the first value is the entry of what I'm gonna measure. So what I'm gonna measure is this cell from A2 to A7. So I just select it, and you can select it or you can type it, A2 to A7. You can do that. And you can see a preview here of what you selected. So you know you are on the right track because it selected your data, and it's gonna give you a preview of the result. And this is good because sometimes it's gonna give you 0. And if the answer is wrong, you know that you have more than 0. So you know there is something wrong the way you're interpreting your the information here, how to enter the data. So this is a way to prove that you are entering the input the right way, and you're understanding the method of the formula. So they're already giving you the results. So you know, in this case, easy because we can see it, but in a large one, it's hard to see it. So you might want to audit a test. If you're not sure, you might want to do a test, like get a couple of small lists and test it with a most list before you do 100 records. Kind of like this, test it with a couple data, and then you can apply it with a larger data. So you click OK, and then you get it. And this is the same thing, you can drag it. In this case, it's not applicable to drag it, but I get the answer, and then you can see there is the formula. And then after you learn this, you don't even have to go to the wizard, you can just write it. You can just write it. And some people just have a handy, all these formulas, they have a handy in a post-it. They just write it and put it on their in their computer, so because they're so frequently used. So ready for another one? See, I have another one that I misspell here and change. Ready for the average? Yes. So for the average, we're gonna go Here in AutoSum, under AutoSum, there is an average there. So I'm just gonna select the hours, and this is easy because we already know what average is gonna be, and it's gonna give me the average. The maximum hours, I just go max, and it's gonna give me the maximum hours. So this one is not giving me the wizard because it's very easy to figure it out. There is only one input, which is, it's more, you get the wizard when you had several inputs. Like we're gonna get it in a little bit. Minimum, or if you want to get the, you can put minimum, and then you get the whole wizard if you want it. If so, here you can get more explanation. So for hours, I'm gonna choose this one. And then you get the minimum hours. And then let's do average pay. And then that's the average pay. And since we have time, we're gonna do that, a logical one, which is an if. But before we do the if, any questions about these functions? No questions? Okay. If you get any questions, just feel free to type it or put it in the Zoom chat or on the on Slack. So what we're gonna, this is to find out if somebody has overtime. So right now you will see, well, I can see what is overtime. So let's say overtime is over 30 hours. So if you say over 30 hours, it's very easy to see. But imagine you have 500 records. It's not that easy to see if you have 500 records, who has overtime or not. So we're gonna do a logical function. A logical function is a if. Is this hour greater than 30? Yes or no? So we're gonna build that using this if. So for that, the best thing is to use the wizard. So the logical test is we start with one input, which is this one. So the first one, and it's gonna be greater. It's a greater than 30. If it's greater than 30, then we say yes, it's overtime. If it's not greater than 30, we say no. The answer is no. There is no overtime. And you can see here the explanation. So right here, there is a test. The logical test is a true. Is D2 greater than 30? So D2, what is the value of D2? 20. So is 20 greater than 30? So you guys can tell me, is that true or false? Is 20 greater than 30? Is that true or false? It's false. So therefore you get here false. But if I do, I'm going to change the value to D5. So is 50 greater than 30? Yes. Therefore, it's true. So that's what it's called logical test. So is that test is pass or fail or true or false? Is this number greater than 30? True or false? Or pass or fail? Is the way either way is correct. So if it's true, we're gonna say yes. Yes, there is overtime. So yes, there is overtime. If it's and if it's not true, we're gonna say no, there is no overtime. So that's the that's how we build it. So we're gonna start with D2. So D2 is gonna be false because there is no overtime. So the output is gonna be no overtime. So I'm gonna click OK, and that's gonna be no overtime. So this one I need to move it actually. So I'm gonna move it to the top because doesn't make sense to be here at the bottom. So I just gonna show you how to move these cells. You select them with the mouse, you click with the mouse, you click with the left, you click it, you select it, and then you wait until you get the arrow, and then you let it go. And now that we're here, I can drag it and it's gonna apply. So now we know that yes, this is the only overtime. So that's good for our analysis. So we can, if we have a lot of records, that's gonna be helpful. So we can highlight this if we need to. That's easy to highlight. If you have to prepare a report for somebody, we know somebody's gonna be interested to know, and well, why, what happened? And we have to dig into why there was so much overtime. If that's something that is interested to be analyzed. Okay, any questions about that? So the if, so you can do a lot of if else analysis in Excel. There is a lot more analysis that can be done like that, but that's just an entry for you to get comfortable with functions. And there is more on the handout that you can practice. And if you go down here, there is a whole video here that you can look more into functions. Okay, so now we can format the table. So we can go to we're gonna go home and we're gonna format as a table. So format as a table is we're gonna make it into a table that has colors, and instead of going and choosing colors and borders, we're just gonna have Excel do it for us. So we're gonna do format home, format as tables. And then we're gonna choose something that we like. I'm gonna choose this one. And then it's gonna tell us what, is this the area you want? And does it have headers? And I say, yeah, it has headers as a table I want. And there it is. It puts filters. If you don't want filters, in this case, it doesn't make sense to have filters. When you select, one of the things in Excel is you have to look at the tabs. So if you look here on the tabs, there is something that's going to happen. So when I click on the table, there is a new tab. It's called Design. So if I click out, it disappears. If I click on the table, it appears. If I click out, it disappears. So click on the table, go to the design, and you're going to see all this new ribbon refers to this table formatting. So click on the filter button. So the filter goes away because on the filter here doesn't make any sense. So again, go to the table, and the table, the tab is gonna appear. If you are out of the table, there is no design, there is no way to get the filters out. Click on the table, click on design, there is a filter button. And you can format here the table. So let's do this other table. We're gonna go home. We're gonna go here to format as a table. And let's choose this one. And it's telling me, is that the area I want? And I'm gonna say yes, but no, not quite. Let's do F. And it select the F, and now it has filters, and I want filters here. So these filters here are, we have text filters, so you can click on these filters and you can choose. First, you can sort. When you sort, everything moves. Not only, everything moves according to the column that you are sorting. It's not independent. So you don't worry that the data is not gonna get messed up. Everything moves according to the sort. And you can move, and then you can sort this Z to A. You can also sort, you don't like that one, you can sort it here, which it makes more sense to sort it on the full name, but it's whatever you wanna do. You can also sort here from smallest to largest. You can also choose what to filter, what you want. If you want to show only one person, or if you want to show everybody. So the way you know that has been sorted is because there is an icon here. So you can see that that's been sorted to smallest to largest. So that's how you know that it's being sorted. And you can sort it here again, A to Z, and then this disappear. So you can apply different, if you want to apply a filter to this, you don't have a filter and you want to apply it. The other way to do it is you go to insert, I think it's insert, and data. You go to data and you put a filter. Oh, it's not gonna let me do it. Oh, I'm gonna show it to you. Okay, I'm gonna have to take this out of the I'm gonna do another table. So if you want to have a filter here, you can do data and you can put a filter. So if you have a table that doesn't have filters, you can go to data and add a filter. And then you can do filters. Okay, so that's all that I have, unless you have any other questions.